morning. As we know that climate crisis is killing people both in rich countries and the vulnerable countries like Pakistan. So we are here today at COP-26 to take distinguished recommendations and the opinions from our speakers that is invited from different embassies and parliamentarian sector. We are here to make an urgency about the smoke screen and climate markets, and further to push for the climate resilient net plans. Now we will look forward for the opinions and the best recommendations from our panelists.
So the main thing we want out of COP26 is that commitment to net zero. So for all countries to come forward with their commitments as was agreed in Paris, and then to help vulnerable countries like Pakistan. I am very, very convinced that Pakistan has a big leadership role to show. Prime Minister Imran Khan has very strong environmental credentials. The billion tree tsunami shows what you can do for nature-based solutions, and I'm quite excited about building that conversation with business, the private sector and youth, so that Pakistan and others in the region can be a real part of driving change in Glasgow.
I think we cannot afford with another delay. In fact, we need more than ever this conference, because it's also about the reconstruction after the devastation of the pandemic that we will talk about, and how to integrate in the recovery, in the economic recovery, the climate change dimension. And it's why for France we have 1/3 of the recovery finance plan is devoted to the climate change action.
I think that is absolutely, that's not even a choice. With this pandemic and this environmental shocks that we are receiving, the hurricanes, the coastal flooding, the urban flooding, the fires all across, if we delay it any further, we will be just expediting our destruction. So my point of view is that the sooner we have it, the better. There'll always be opposition, and that goes on. But it's very important that the main people in the world get together and they decide how they are going to implement it and prevent the disaster that we are facing and we will leave for our children.
Somehow the problems of climate change can have their own vaccines, which is international collaboration, green technologies, green economy, green energies. So from now on, whatever we do must be done with environmental awareness. That is the turning point.
The COP agenda and the COP26 in particular is such a crucial moment, given the urgency to bring the international community together, to have updates on the national objectives, to have peer pressure to get action on the climate agenda. So without getting into the institutional decisions and on the timing, I think it is absolutely crucial and urgent to have the international community come together in this meeting. So I'm very much looking forward, as the World Bank, we're very much looking forward to the COP26 and to see every government commitment concretized. And as far as the World Bank in Pakistan is concerned, we are committed to support the government of Pakistan's plans in adapting to the climate agenda and contributing to the emissions reduction.
COVID is not going away anywhere soon. We are seeing that the virus is mutating itself. So we can't be sure that it will not be there or the level of threat will be lesser or greater next year. So I think the issues that are at stake right now, and COP was already postponed by 1 year, these issues need to be addressed and discussed. And yes, civil society participation is very important, but at the same time, like I had said earlier, this is a multilateral platform where governments meet and decide and agree on agendas.
Well, my personal opinion is that perhaps it's not the time for postponement until we know that till when it would be deferred and what would be the alternative forums or other subgroups meeting in which many of the pending issues which are haunting developing countries would be discussed. So in principle, of course, the stance of civil society organization, it has merit and it has certain strengths due to travel restrictions, due to COVID, due to many other limitations. Most of the observers and civil society and delegates, they would not be able to participate in COP26, but perhaps we need to then emphasize on making it a hybrid event where the civil society participants, those who can't travel, they can at least give their contribution in a meaningful manner through other audiovisual means and through using the latest technology. But plainly postponing it, and we don't know when COVID situation would improve, and if it improves, perhaps it will create a dent on the progress that global community wants to achieve out of it.
So we brought for you a useful suggestions, opinions, review, previews by our distinguished speakers. So finally, we concluded over here that we have to implement 3 C's, that is COVID, climate and conflict with such an energy that reflects our socio-economic and values, and the participation of youth that matters most to fight with these ecosystem crisis.